Here are 5 reasons your spoken English is not getting any better and what to do about it. Hello, this is Keith from the Keith Speaking Academy. Welcome. Now, you may have studied English for a few years, but now you may feel that when it comes to speaking, your speaking level is stuck at the same level. You just can't move up. Don't worry, this is very common, right? And there are things you can do to become unstuck and keep advancing, right? Today, I'd like to give you 5 reasons why you could be stuck and how to improve and develop your speaking skills. This is particularly good if you're preparing for the IELTS and IELTS speaking test. This will help you build up your confidence again, develop your speaking skills so you can face the examiner with confidence and get the score you need. Oh, by the way, stay around until the end because I want to give you a bonus, which is my #1 tip on how to become unstuck. All right, let's begin with number 1. Okay, number 1 is low motivation. Now, many of you have, well, for many students, right, learning a language is something, it's a chore or even a headache, something you had to do at school, right? There was no choice. For those of you taking an exam like TOEFL or IELTS, again, it's something you have to do if you want to study abroad or immigrate or emigrate. It's what we say in English, it's to jump through hoops. You have to go through the process just to get something done, right? The problem is this headache and this stress, we know from research, leads to low performance in most things, in sport, but particularly in language learning, okay? The solution, first of all, change your mindset. Change it from, oh, I hate studying English to actually, I quite enjoy studying English. I'm always very happy when I read comments in my YouTube channel from students who say, you know, I used to hate English, but now watching your videos, I really enjoy it. It's great. The other thing is you can take some action to boost your motivation. For example, if you're rich, take a trip abroad. That'll get you motivated to learn. If you're not rich, stay at home, but join an online community. Connect with other people similar to you facing the same challenge can really help with motivation. Or take an exam. What? Take an exam? That doesn't, yes, it does motivate you because, again, from goal setting theory, we know that having a specific goal, like an exam, to work towards, specific, challenging, and achievable goal raises motivation. It does help if you have a structured learning path towards that goal, of course. Finally, you could do a bit of retail therapy, we call. Retail therapy is when you go shopping to make yourself feel better. Go and buy something. I feel great, right? Go and buy a book to learn English or a novel in English. Go and buy an online course. It's true, right? When you buy something new, it's like, oh, it's shiny, great, and you feel better. There's a dopamine rush. And then what? You can, online courses as well are gonna boost your motivation and help you, not only in the short term, but in the long term. Most online courses allow you to control the pace of study. You're in control, right? You can stop things, rewind, watch again. There's no peer pressure, like in a real classroom. There's no other students going to laugh at you. And there's no real-time pressure. You just take your time. Unlimited input, watching and reading again. Unlimited output. Courses like my Gold course, my online course for IELTS students, IELTS Speaking, you can meet up with other students in small groups and practice as much as you want. You pay once, and then you just practice as much as you want for months, for years, if you like. It's great. So that continual output is essential to speaking better English, but boosting your motivation. Great. Let's move on. Right, number 2 is a bad study method. Now, just to be clear, there is no right way for everybody to study. We all study in different ways, and we have to adapt our study method for something that works for us. But we should base it on good research, things that we know work for language learning. Okay, so I know some students learn vocabulary from long word lists. For grammar, they have a reference book with exercises, and they go from Unit 1 down to Unit 100. That's okay, but it's probably not enough. Generally speaking, right, I would say the solution, right, is my approach, generally speaking, is for learning vocabulary and grammar is 3 steps, right? It's context, zoom in, and zoom out. What do I mean? So context is exposing yourself to lots of different kinds of language, whether it's reading novels, reading blog posts, listening to podcasts, watching films. You're exposing yourself to the vocabulary and the grammar in context. Zooming in is you're picking out a word or a grammatical item and analysing it. So you need your dictionary, you need your grammar reference book, and you're understanding what it means. And then zoom out, you look again or listen again to the original text to help you understand it. And hopefully you understand it better. On top of that, you do need practice and review. You check out my recent video on learning vocabulary, it's discover, practice, and review, right? You need all of those steps to really be learning deeply and to move up, to become unstuck. If you're not following these steps, you may have an ineffective study method. Right, let's move on. So number 3 is not enough practice. That's right. Hey, have you seen those videos on YouTube that say, don't study vocabulary? And you're going, what? Or don't study grammar. What? And you click. Very often the message there is don't study English, practice English. So they're telling you it's not enough to study, you have to practice. The reality is you need both study and practice. You really do need both. But the practice is the activation. And without it, your English will stay here. It won't come out here. It's like reading a book. If you read a book on learning how to swim, it doesn't mean you're a good swimmer, right? You have to practice, jump in the water. It's the same with learning English. So the solution to make sure you get enough practice. Yep, I know you're all very busy. You've got studies, other studies. You've got children at home, maybe. You've got a lovely boss who doesn't give you enough free time. You've got life takes over. So to make sure you get enough practice, first of all, set an achievable goal. If you can only do 5 minutes a week, that's fine. But set the day, the time, and the place when you're going to do it, and do it, right? Make sure it's done. Forget everything else. Do that. If you can do 20 minutes 3 times a week, great. Set the day, the time, and the place, and do it. Ideally, the same time, day, and place. Not day, same time and place each time, so you don't have to think about it. Okay. Prioritize it. Don't let others take this away from you. There are then the way to practice. There's lots of ways. I mean, as teachers know, there's basically controlled, semi-controlled, and free. Controlled is where, for example, you've got a sentence with a grammatical structure and you change one word in the sentence. Semi-controlled could be we've got a grammatical structure like the present simple tense, So let's talk about where I live. And we practice. You control the environment. Free is just free conversation, where you're just speaking to people and just practicing freely. Okay. If you want more ideas, I've got some great ideas, even if I say so myself, up here in this video on different ways to practice on your own, at home, alone. Sounds like a film. Let's move on. And number 4 is the fear of making mistakes. Now, I remember when I was a baby and I was crawling. I can't remember what I did last week, never mind as a baby. But seriously, I was crawling on the floor. And I remember I stood up and I tried to walk. And my mum and my dad were there going, "Oh, he's walking. Look, come on, come on." And I was there and then I was tottering and then, ooh, boom, I fell. And my dad picked me up. I said, "Right, that's it, in the cot. You've had your chance, finished." Now, that's not true, but that's what you're doing to yourself when you criticize yourself for making mistakes and saying, "Oh, I'm so stupid. Why do I do that? I always make the same mistake." No, it doesn't matter. Be kind to yourself. Treat yourself better. Seriously. The thing is, it's not your fault. This often goes back to teaching in schools, where teachers are taught. It's not the teacher's fault. We are taught to correct all the mistakes. Do you remember getting your essay back from Mr. Jones? And it was covered in red ink, all those mistakes. And you go, "Oh, I'm rubbish at English." And it's not true. I think the students who make all those mistakes should get a great prize because it shows that they're trying, they're testing, they're experimenting with the language, right? I think often the problem is the word mistakes. Yeah, mistake. It's something bad, something you shouldn't have done, right? "Oh, listen, I'm so sorry. I called you an idiot, right? I'm sorry. It's my mistake, my bad. I won't do it again." But that's not what English language is about. It's not about mistakes and bad. So when I'm correcting students, I actually don't say, "That's wrong. That's a mistake." I actually say, "That's not quite right." And the focus changes from bad, wrong, to not quite right, almost right. Keep going, right? So the solution is when you're with your English and experimenting is in your head, when something's wrong or a mistake, you say in your head, "That's not quite right." And keep going, keep experimenting, because you will get better. Next. Number 5 is you don't believe in yourself. And this really is a question of confidence. I think many students lose their confidence, especially at that intermediate level, maybe a band 6 in IELTS, where they're pushing and pushing and they're stuck and you lose your confidence. The problem is, the more you lose your confidence, the worse your ability gets and you speak worse and worse, right? Part of the problem as well is you're comparing yourself with others. I'm at a band 6 and he's got a band 7 and he's got a band 7 and she got her band 7.5. And you think everybody else is progressing and you're stuck on your own here. And your confidence shrivels up. It's not true. The solution really is don't compare yourself to others. Forget about everybody else. Focus on what you can control and focus on building your confidence. Small goals that you can achieve on a daily basis is how you build confidence. It really is a skill that you can build. So don't compare with others. Compare you today with you a month ago and look at that progress. And that's where to focus. Right. Now, if I remember correctly, I have a bonus tip for you, right? My bonus tip is focus more on communication rather than language. Sometimes we get so absorbed with the vocabulary and the grammar that we forget to communicate, right? And I understand when you're speaking, there is a balance between fluency and accuracy. I suggest when you're practicing on your own, focus on vocabulary and grammar and get it right. So focus on accuracy, speak more slowly and get it right. Record yourself and play back, things like that. But when you're with other people, focus on fluency and communication, really. What do I mean? Well, I mean, what is good communication? It's your posture. It's your confidence. It's your voice. Is it loud and clear? A confident voice? Do you have variation in volume and intonation? Are you using stress to emphasize your points? Are you using some body language and gestures? All of that is good communication. And it's really important. I think sometimes as students we forget about that because we're stuck in the forest of vocabulary and grammar. So look beyond the forest and think about communication. Right. That's it. Let me summarize then. And by the way, if you click on the link below, there is a PDF which will tell you all of today's video lesson, a nice summary. But basically, if you feel that you're stuck, you're not making progress, especially with your speaking skills, then do the following, right? Do something to boost your motivation. Choose a good study method. Practice regularly. Change your focus away from mistakes to that's not quite right, and keep going. Compare you today with you in the past and not others, and really believe in yourself. And focus more on communication rather than language. And I think if you do all of these persistently over time, it will help you become unstuck. It'll help you make progress, develop your speaking skills so you can become a confident speaker of English. And if you're taking IELTS, get the score that you need. Finally, if you want a good method, a chance to zoom in and zoom out with me, and a chance to practice with others as much as you want, come and join me on my gold course, IELTS Speaking Success, Get a Band 7+ Gold. And I'm sure you'll love it. You'll make the progress that you need to make. In the meantime, if you like this video, please do subscribe, turn on notifications for future videos, and I'll see you in the next video coming up. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.